Hi everyone, my name is Diana and I'm a registered dietitian and a certified diabetes educator. Today I want to chat with you about the 5 best types of bread to eat if you have type 2 diabetes. And if you stay till the end, I'll show you a trick on how you can make sure you always pick the best bread at the grocery store. So many people think that once they're diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, they have to give up all carbohydrates, including bread. But this could not be further from the truth. Some types of bread are full of whole grains, which are an essential part of a healthy diet. In fact, many studies show that including whole grains in your diet actually helps prevent you from getting type 2 diabetes in the first place. So for example, in this systematic review and meta-analysis, which is a study that looks at multiple studies, the researchers found that a high whole grain intake was associated with a reduced type 2 diabetes risk. Whole grains have so many important nutrients like fiber, protein, and many B vitamins. Both the American Diabetes Association and the American Association of Clinical Endocrinology recommend people with diabetes should include whole grains into their diet, including whole grains like multigrain bread. So let's look at the top 5 whole grain breads to include in your diet if you have type 2 diabetes. So number 1 is going to be Food for Life bread. You may have seen this bread in the freezer section. It's flourless and made up of a ton of whole grains. It has 6 grams of protein and 6 grams of fiber in just one slice. So if you made a sandwich with this bread, you'd already be at 12 grams of both protein and fiber for the day. That's half of the recommended amount of fiber you need for an entire day. Next up, we have ALVARADO St. Bakery. Similar to Food for Life bread, ALVARADO St. Bakery is usually found in the freezer section, and it's made with sprouted wheat. So basically 100% whole wheat berry has been soaked and it's allowed to grow into a living sprout. And this can be very beneficial for our bodies because it allows our bodies to digest and absorb more nutrients than grains that haven't been necessarily sprouted. Next up is Mighty MANNA bread. And this bread is also made from sprouted whole organic grains, and it's made up of ingredients such as whole wheat, whole rye, and whole seeds. MANNA bread is often described as a unique cake-like sprouted bread. So it's not really a traditional sliced sandwich bread, but much more moist and is often compared to the texture and consistency of a muffin. And they have a lot of great varieties like banana walnut hemp, carrot raisin, and cinnamon date bread. The 4th best type of bread for people living with type 2 diabetes is MESTEMACHER. Not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but MESTEMACHER is actually a German company, but it is also available here in the United States. They pride themselves on using natural ingredients for their bread, including freshly milled rye, water, salt, and yeast, and they never use any preservatives. And the last type of bread is Silver Hill Sprouted Power. They too are also made of sprouted grains and have a very simple list of ingredients. And their bread is rich in whole grains, fiber, and many different important vitamins and minerals. So there you have it, the 5 best types of breads to have in your diet if you have type 2 diabetes. And now that we've reached the end of the list, I'm going to share with you my secret for how to always pick the best type of bread at the grocery store. It's called the carb to fiber 5-to-1 ratio. Okay, so this rule prescribes a 5-to-1 ratio between the carbs and the fiber in your bread. And you can use this for other packaged foods too, but I especially like it for bread. So basically for every 5 grams of carbs, there should be at least 1 gram of fiber. Having this ratio establishes an adequate amount of fiber for the carbs, which having enough fiber helps to slow down the absorption of the carbs into your bloodstream. So the more fiber you have in your bread, the better it's going to be for your blood sugar. You're going to have better blood sugar control. So to use the rule, what you're going to do is you're going to locate the total carbohydrates and fiber on the nutrition label. You're going to divide the total carbs by the fiber. And if it's more than 5, it's best to put the product back on the shelf. If it's 5 or less, then you are good to go. So let's use an example. So I'm going to use Food for Life baking as my example. So in this slice of bread, in one slice of bread from here, there are 15 grams of total carbs and 3 grams of fiber, which equals 5. This would be a great selection of bread since the ratio is 5 or less. So you're good to go with this bread. So if you like this video, please give it a like below and let me know in the comments, have you ever tried any of these breads before? If not, which ones would you try?